Were you a fan of the ABA back in the day?
You know, I was 9 when the ABA folded, so I didn't really. I'm still too young to follow the ABA. Yeah.
Can't tell you his stories about being a big Spurs fan and.
Oh yeah, we got all those stories ad nauseum. But yeah, and growing up out in California, it was really obviously all about the Lakers. So I was like a big Laker fan. But so I did most of my got most of my knowledge later on from reading this book Loose Balls, which is about Chronicles. That's the real title. It's a great book. It chronicles every year of the ABA, and the stories in it are even stranger than what we have in the movie. It was such a crazy league with these characters, and you know, it's just like they really did wrestle a bear at an Indiana Pacers game. You know, a guy like when I traded a washing machine for weeks, like one guy actually wanted a refrigerator as part of his deal. But the team said, we can't give you a new one, we'll give you a used one. It's like, okay, I'll take it. It was just the weirdest, most comedic kind of sports thing ever.
So kind of your third sports movie in a row. What made you want to do basketball for this one?
You know, this was something, Scott Armstrong, who wrote the script. I've known him since Old School. He wrote Old School and Starsky and Hutch and did some work on Elf, and he had always told me, one day I'm going to write a 70s basketball comedy, and I said, oh please, like I don't have to read it. I just so want to do a basketball movie. So, you know, the only bad thing for me is that it was ready right as we were shooting Blades of Glory, and so now, you know, I'm getting the sports comedy question over and over again. But I'm not obsessed with it. You know, I'm not obsessed with sports movies, but they're fun to do. But I'm not going to do them from now on, type of thing.
I actually read somewhere that, like, I don't know if this is true, but you held like a field goal kicking record from high school or something, and you're actually a guy. But so kind of coming off of that, I was wondering.
Yeah, I played a lot of sports.
Yeah. Well, so I was wondering, sort of kind of off of that, like, you kind of, first of all, you come across as kind of like a cerebral guy, despite all the
highly.
Yes. No, but honestly, despite all the comedy, you kind of see that. So I was wondering if there is anything else that you could see yourself doing besides being a performer or an actor at all.
Well, you know, I've finally just started to stop coming up with other jobs I could do if this all goes to shit. Because I would constantly be like, oh, I could drive a cab. Like I was thinking of things, because, you know, you just live in mortal fear of, like, people all of a sudden hate you, and or you're not funny anymore or whatever. So, but yeah, what would I do if I had that job? I mean, I probably would have gone down. I mean, I studied sports journalism in college, so I would have probably done something in the world of sports. I might have even tried to have been a coach, maybe, something like that. Or either a poet. Because I love writing haikus. Not really.
Was there something you did between? Sorry, was there something you did between the Groundlings, or between college and the Groundlings? Did you ever hold any other kind of? Was you?
I did. I had a slew of. I was a bank teller, valet parker. What else? I worked at an art auction house.
Really?
I was the appraisal coordinator.
No kidding.
I would send the appraisers out, and they'd bring their appraisals of art back, and I'd have to type them up. But I was pretty bad at the job. Because I would just leave and go on auditions, and but I kept employed by being completely honest with my employers when they would say, "This, you know, that appraisal was due a month ago." I would say, "I know, it's terrible." And when do you think we can expect it? I have no idea. It would almost stun them into, okay, well, get it done right away. Okay, I will. I'll try my hardest, but there's no guarantees.
So what was it like to get back to that more, you know, that old school type of humor, rated R, where you could tell, you know, Matt Walsh to suck on it, you're going to kill his family, as opposed to having to stay PG-13?
It was great, yeah. It was kind of, you know, in some ways, having to stay within PG-13 makes you forces you to be a little more creative in a way. So it's actually kind of a good exercise. That having been said, I've done so many PG-13 movies that it was just nice to not have to worry about anything you say or anything you do. And Step Brothers, the film that that comes out in July that we did with John C. Reilly. That's Adam McKay and I's first R-rated movie. So we were like, I just watched a cut of it, and we have way too many F words. Like, we're just addicted to like saying it every other line. We actually have to pull it back a little bit because after a while it just becomes white noise. But it is. It's nice to not have to worry about that stuff.
Now you sing in Anchorman and Elf, and now you have the single "Love Me Sexy" out on iTunes. Are you warming yourself and the world up for like a musical?
Well, no. I'm 2 minutes.
Jesus Christ.
You haven't even asked a question.
No.
2 minutes. I've just. I mean, you guys will be the first to hear this. I'm going on tour with Justin Timberlake. So I'm opening for him and then closing for him because he brought Sexy back, and now I've Love Me Sexy. So it's the Let's Bring Love Me Sexy Back tour. But we're not coming to Austin.
Did you?
I'm with Austin Mentally, so I have Austin questions. Have you spent much time in Austin?
This is my third visit to Austin. I was here first time to work on Wendell Baker's story, Luke Wilson's movie.
Yeah.
Which that was fun, and then I came here to ride in Lance's ride, and then now I'm here in the hotel. But I have,
So first time since the USC UT game.
Yeah.
Is that tough?
A little bit tough.
Yeah.
Even though that it's still great to be one of the two teams that played arguably the greatest game.
I just remember the Leno appearance afterwards.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're good.
He is, yeah, he's good. He's amazing.
Okay. I was going to ask, and this might be an odd question, but you're like enormously famous. And you kind of...
I'm pretty huge.
Yeah. But you've kind of been pretty famous for like 10, 11 years. And I'm wondering, because you're so much more now, is it any weirder now being more famous but being used to it than it was at the beginning being smaller but being new? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, totally.
It seems like a weird thing to get used to.
It's never not weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know if I think anyone who gets used to that type of thing is heading down the wrong track because it's just still the weirdest thing ever, and I just had a new wave of it recently because I went to Ireland for 2 weeks just on a trip with my dad and my brother, and Anchorman is like the biggest thing over there. So like people drive by in their cars and like, I want to be on you! And
in an Irish brogue?
In an Irish brogue, yeah. And there were radio contests, like track Will Ferrell's whereabouts through Ireland. It was the biggest thing, it was like, it was so flattering, and yet it was like, this is weird. And we went up to Northern Ireland, which is just starting to have tourism now, because they finally have had peace for a long enough time.
Oh, wow.
One guy pulled up in his truck, and he was like, hey! Hey! I was like, I thought something was wrong. I was like, what the fuck are you doing here? He was like angry with me. And I was like, oh, we're just visiting. Why, is there a problem? No! I can't believe you're here. He was like stopping traffic and all this stuff, but it doesn't. But I've been lucky in the sense that it's really been gradual. It started off being on Saturday Night Live. You can't get too famous too fast because it's late night TV, and it took 5 seasons for people to think I was on for 2 years. And so I have to say I've lucked out in that regard, that it didn't happen in like a rush to where it overwhelmed you. But I'm more used to it than I've ever been, and still not used to it all at the same time.
You still got to go down the street to get a bagel, though. It's like...
Yeah, I mean I still go about my daily life, but sometimes it's just strange.
Yeah.
We have to wrap it up, guys.
What's the... Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
All right, thanks you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.